Good afternoon. Welcome back to Cruising on Crypto. Well, I guess it's not really you that's back. It's me that's back after, 10 months since I have made a video. I think my last video was in January. I'm just going to talk about why I've been gone black for the last 10 months and what I've been doing and what I'm doing now, why I got a little more excited about making videos and whatnot. So this is meant to be kind of a preamble to a video I'm going to make right after this on Velodrome, the project I'm doing all my yield farming, or most of my yield farming on anyway. It's going to be a big topic that's going to take a long time to discuss. So I wanted to save that as its own video and make this preamble to explain why the channel went dark. Long and short, I was saying when I was making videos near the end there that I didn't see us going much higher. Let me just pull up this chart here. This is the chart of Bitcoin and Ethereum together on the same chart with using percentage to show that they've moved together. So here we were back in November. Like most people, I just want to preamble and say, obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. You should assume that with every YouTuber you watch. We're all just people. Like people like me, I don't do YouTube for a job. This is not my job. I do it when I feel like it. I do it when I feel like there's something important to say. Some of the other YouTubers, it is their job. They have to post something every single day, but I didn't need to. So once I got pessimistic on the market back in January, I decided there's no point in me making videos because I'm just going to come on and repeat every single day. I think we've got a lot further to go down. I think a lot further to go down. I think a lot further to go down. And just to say how we're nobody's, I mean, I nailed it, but I'm not saying I'm always right or even anywhere close to that. Like most people, this is the high. The candlestick chart is the Bitcoin and the yellow one is Ethereum. As you can see, when things are good, Ethereum goes up much more than Bitcoin does. But this is Bitcoin back in November when it hit its high of 69. I was in the camp that we didn't have a lot more time left in this bull market. I was thinking it might end in January. This was November. I was expecting to continue to go up to over, to hit that 100,000 Bitcoin. That was what I thought. I follow a lot of YouTubers as well. A lot of them, some of my favorites was James from Invest Answers, Ben from Into the Cryptoverse. There's a bunch, but almost everybody to a man or woman was saying we have more to go. This second top is not the top. We're just on our way to our eventual top. I was in the same boat, same mindset until it got to be like January. And now I'm saying this is when this bull market should run out of time. And here we are down here. So let's zoom back in. So I'll go back to November so that the chart shows from the peak, only because I want to show you where get to the absolute peak here. So there you go. I pretty much maxed the percent chart from the top in November down. As you can see, Ethereum and Bitcoin are down about 73, 74%. They're about the same. As you see, they move in lockstep. I find when things are bullish and everything's going to the moon, Bitcoin is that blue chip that doesn't seem to move very fast, while Ethereum's more like the growth of the future of crypto, and everything seems to be being built on top of Ethereum in terms of layer twos and all that. We'll talk more about that later. But I think when things are bullish, Ethereum has a much higher growth profile than Bitcoin. But when things go down generally, if I went from the high of Ethereum down, it probably would have lost a little bit more money percent-wise. So keep that in mind. But generally, as you can see from this chart, it moves in lockstep. So I left the market somewhere around here. Like I said, at that point, I'd said we'd fallen far too much for this to be a pullback within a bull market. I also felt like we were running out of time. That's when I decided I'm done. I'm not going to make any videos. I just don't want to come on every day going, guys, there's a lot more to go. There's a lot more to fall. There's a lot more to fall. Can you imagine if I daily posted, like, Altcoin Daily, one that I watch, they have to post every single day. And I'm sure during big events, they're posting more than once a day. If I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to come on every day and be Mr. Pessimist. And nobody likes that. The comments would just, rip me for constantly being bearish. Even if I ended up eventually being right, I still would have just been lambasted every day. And like I said, this is not a job for me. This is just for fun. Treat this as a dialogue between you and a buddy or a coworker. You're sitting around the water cooler and you decide, hey, I'm into crypto. Are you into crypto? Yes, I am. Let's talk. And you give your opinion of what's going on, whether we got a lot further to fall. I give my opinion. If my opinion, your opinion are different, maybe we learn why the other one has the opposite opinion. That's what we should get out of this. Doesn't mean the guy you meet at the water cooler at work is super knowledgeable or knows the future. Nobody knows the future, right? So take that as it is for every YouTuber you listen to. Take it with a grain of salt. It's their opinion. Maybe it's based on technical analysis, which is just sort of looking at the charts and saying the probabilities are we're going up from here, or the probabilities are we're going down from here. One of the prime ones, like I said, is Ben from Into the Cryptoverse. I like watching his technical analysis. Gareth Salloway, he's got his own channel, but he's really known for being a guest on many, many channels. He called it back when we were at Bitcoin 60 something thousand. He said, we're going down to 20,000. He said, long term, I'm bullish. I think this thing's going 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 down the road. But in the meantime, we got to fall back to 20,000. At the time, I was like, I agree, we're going to fall. But 20,000, when we're at 60,000, felt unnaturally low. I remember thinking maybe we get down to 30,000. I thought 20,000 sounded insane. And here we are now at 16,005. And a couple days ago, we were down to 15,005. So So the reason for not doing videos was I was getting very bearish on the overall market. I'm always into yield farming. I don't buy coins. I'm very rare in the YouTuber kind of space. They're all talking about buy your favorite coin, put it on a cold wallet, get it off the system, get it out of the exchanges. I understand about getting it out of the exchanges, obviously with the horrendous news of FTX and Voyager, and now who knows how many other crypto exchanges are going to go under because of the whole cascading effect. So I get why you wouldn't want to just leave it on a exchange for the sake of just leaving it there because you just can't be bothered to put it on a cold wallet. If you are buying coins just to own coins, sure, 100%. Put it in a cold wallet. Put it in a ledger, put it in a whatever other brand that you trust of cold wallet. That's what I would do if I were you. I'm a yield farmer though. That's my whole thing. I often pick between 2 or 3 coins by saying, well, which one of these coins that I'm equally bullish on do I think or do I know that I can yield farm for a higher rate of return? Because that is always your better safety net, right? Like if you're using, for argument's sake, Matic and VeChain. Back when I was on just staking a lot of times where I was kind of new to yield farming, I used to often stake, and I often did it on Binance. If I staked VeChain, I would make 3%. If I staked Matic, Polygon Matic, Matic is the coin, I might make 18%. But I might have looked at both coins and gone, Matic, layer 2 for Ethereum. That's a great way to get into the Ethereum network without paying those outlandish gas fees of Ethereum. Love the idea. Think it's got a lot of growth profile. I like VeChain. I like their whole business plan. I like them both. But if I like them equally, and as you can see from the chart behind me here, charts tend to move, everything tends to move in relative lockstep. So if we're in a bullish time, everything goes up. And if we're in a bearish time, everything goes down with minor deviations from that. So long and short, if I'm equally bullish of 2 projects, then I would always pick the coin that had the higher ability to yield. And this is, of course, when I was on Binance, I was just putting coins in staking, single coin staking. Then, of course, this was back in 2020. I got into crypto in 2018 after watching it go all the way up and all the way back down in 2017 into the 2018 low. I got in 2018, didn't know anything about yield farming, was just buying coins and putting them, eventually on single coin staking on Binance. Eventually learned about yield farming and liquidity pools and all that stuff, as you know from my channel if you've been watching me before. Long and short, that's how I pick my coins now. I have to be bullish about the coin. I have to feel that it's a good dev team, it's got a good future, it's got a good business plan. I see a growth potential. And then when I get them I like them both, then I pick the one I can yield farm for more. So there you go. Long and short, wasn't bullish, that's why I stopped. But am I bullish now? Is that why I'm back on? Well, yes and no. If I'm going to use an analogy, I would say that if this is the crypto winter, what month are we in? I think we're in February. I think a lot of the winter's behind us, but not all of it. I've been saying, and I have a Telegram private group, which I wasn't letting any new people in, but as you know, when we get into a bear market, When it was a bull market, I literally couldn't keep up with all the comments. I'd wake up in the morning, there'd be 600 comments, and people talking back and forth to each other in my group, talking to me, asking me questions, and I get in there, and it felt like, wow, this is a lot of a lot of time to keep up with all these comments. Now that it's been a crypto winter for so long, dead quiet. A lot of the people that are in the room don't say anything anymore. There's maybe a handful that still do, and I interact with them. So as you can see at the bottom of the page, there is an email address. I am looking to see if anybody wants to jump into the room. Just send me an email, explain what you're into. Like I said, I will be talking in the next episode about Velodrome and being on the Optimism chain, which is a layer 2 of Ethereum. If that's an area you're interested in, that might be a reason you want to jump into my private Telegram group. Totally free. Just want to have people that are in there for the right reasons. They're not there to shill some meme coin. They're there because they want to talk DeFi. They want to talk about various things. So if that's something you're interested in, send me an email. At the bottom of the page, you can see it there, cruisingoncrypto@gmail.com. Okay, so we're in February. In the Telegram group, as I was saying, I've been saying since the beginning that we are going down, we are going down. While I wasn't making videos, I kept saying, guys, we're not even close to the bottom yet. Back then, when I was trying to ballpark, I said, I think we'll get below 15,000 Bitcoin. I always use Bitcoin as the yardstick to compare the numbers because everything kind of moves, like I said, lockstep with Bitcoin. I said, we're going to go below 15,000. Not a lot below 15,000 in my opinion, but below 15,000. Now, I've seen people that I respect and are good at technical analysis being able to argue a point, like Gareth Soloway, that we're going down to 10,000. The reasoning he has, if you watch one of his more recent videos, is that the FTX fiasco, he equates to the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy and how there was a cascading effect. And that it took about 6 months from that event before the end of the bear market. But he's using a stock example to talk about crypto. And if there's something I've noticed recently is as we've gotten all this terrible macroeconomic news, the war in Russia, all these Voyager, Coinbase, Terra Luna, of course, now FTX, all this stuff, just one bad news story after another. And until recently, we were kind of stuck between 18,000 and 22,000, just kind of kept bouncing along for month after month. And I was like, man, it doesn't seem to matter. We get a bad news story, it drops to 18-ish thousand. And within a couple of days, we're back in the 20,000. And then another bad news story comes out, 18,000. And then it kind of, after a few days of that news, kind of evaporates back to 20,000. I'm like, man, I don't even know if we're going to get to my 15,000 kind of call. But I still said, you know what? There's going to be one more black swan event. I honestly thought it might be something to do with the Russia war. I thought they might lob a nuke at Finland or Poland or somebody, and then we'll all be like, World War III starting, and then that would be the black swan event. Then FTX came along. And that pushed us to new lower lows. Our old low was 17.8, and then a few days ago we got down to 15.5. So that's pretty close to my, I said 14 to 15 is probably in my estimation a low, just gut feel. I didn't think we'd get down to the 12 that a lot of technical analysis people are pointing to because that was a jumping off point on the chart. I didn't think we were going to get down to 10,000 like Gareth Soloway is saying. I just thought there's too much still interest in buying the dip. There's still enough whales and regular TradFi companies that secretly want to get into crypto. And so every time there's a pullback, they jump in and grab some. So I feel like there's that little bit of buy the dip mentality still going on. So I don't know if we're going to go a lot lower. But the analogy of February means I still think we have until the early part of next year, where if one more, because of the domino effect, one or two more bad stories come out about some exchange locking up everybody's coins, can't get them out, bankruptcies, whatever. And this is the first time that the cryptocurrency ecosystem is having to deal with a simultaneous recession. So using the analogy in crypto, we're in February of the winter. March is going to start to warm up. April is going to be nicer, and on we go. So will we hit a lower low than the 15.5? I still think so. I still think there's one more leg down. And again, just personal gut feel and my opinion. Put in the comments if you have a counter argument to why we're off to the races. Like I said, some YouTubers I do like and respect and I feel they are intelligent, like James from Invest Answers. He thinks we're already past, the bottom's already in, although he was saying that before the FTX thing. And I kept thinking, nah, there's something coming. There's still a black swan event. You know, he was bullish. I was bearish. You know, I respect him as being a very intelligent man. But the point is, I still think this isn't it. There's just too many dominoes left to fall. So I think we got a little bit lower to go. I don't think a lot lower. What I want to say about that, though, is if you're sitting there with a stockpile of, I call it dry powder, if you've got a bunch of stable coins or something just sitting there waiting to buy, don't take my opinion, don't take anybody's opinion. If you feel we're close to the bottom, then you should probably be DCAing in, dollar cost averaging. Put in a little bit every week. If we hit lower lows, great. If we don't, at least you're started to get into it, because human nature is this. It'll fall to a price, let's say 15.1, so lower than the low we just had. It might all of a sudden, you might go, well, I think it's going to go into the 14, 13. You might be the 12,000 type of person, and you don't put any money in. But then the 15 goes to 16, and you go, yeah, but it'll come back down. 16 goes to 17. It'll come back down. 18, 19, 20,000. All of a sudden you're like, crap, I'm missing the boat. And what do? You buy in then. And then inevitably the market likes to mess with the most people it can. It'll flip and go the other way a little bit. And then you'll panic and think, oh, I shouldn't have gotten in then. And you'll sell. It's just human nature, because now you're back to your old mindset. It's going down to 12. I shouldn't have gotten in at 20. I'm going to get out now at 18. You get back out, it starts going back up again. So the safest thing to do if you want to be invested somewhat is to dollar cost average in. And the other thing I want to say is, in my way of doing things, I look at places I can yield farm so that I am making new coins, stacking new coins. That way my cost basis keeps dropping anyway. And therefore I'm still making money even if the crypto market's going sideways to even slightly down. I'm still making money because I'm stacking coins faster than the price of the coins are going down. And that's what I've been doing since June in Velodrome. Now, I don't have time to get into Velodrome now. I'll just show you the website. It's on the Optimism chain. This is Velodrome. Do a little research between now and when I make the next video. What it generally is, it's a solidly, I wouldn't say clone because they improved on it. They took the Solidly and SolidX idea that was on Phantom by Andre Conje. He created Solidly. It was a great premise, but it had a lot of bugs and flaws still. And the Velodrome devs, when Solidly collapsed because Andre Conje just all of a sudden decided, I'm out of crypto. Maybe he was like me, maybe he was very bearish on the crypto space, and he's like, wrong time to start a new project, I'm out. And then the whole project kind of just fell apart. They took the Solidly, SolidX idea and created Velodrome. So what it is, very, very short, is it's a swap site. So it does swapping. It's a pool site, which means liquidity pool. So if you don't want to do anything about what I'm about to talk to you about locking or trying to get bribes and voting and all that stuff, if that's just too complicated for you and you just want good old-fashioned liquidity pools, of course, you can go in here. This is their pools page. You can change this from 10 to 25 just to get you more of a list on there. And you can go in here, and this is based on, I think, total pool amount. So in dollar values, even though this is showing coins, unfortunately, I wish they had a column that showed dollar value instead of just total pool amount in coins, because what's a WETH, a wrapped ETH, it's hard to know the dollar value. But anyways, if you sort it, it's based on most dollar values locked in this liquidity pool to least. You notice the biggest ones tend to be the most stable ones. Therefore, the APR is a little low. But if you go by APR highest to lowest, you now see more speculative liquidity pools. And keep in mind, this is APR, not APY. A lot of projects will quote APY, which is a much higher number. Just to show you, let's pick something that I have been in. I like Sunny. Sunny is a borrowing lending protocol where you can put your coins on there and you can lend, you can borrow against them, and then you can loop it and make more money. It's, again, that should be an episode all on its own. But that's one. Let's use that as an APR example. It's giving you 235%. So we go up here, we type in 235%. And we decide, are we going to be compounding annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily? Now, daily means that the APR implies this is how much you're going to get in total rewards, assuming you only take the rewards and put it in a wallet and don't do anything with it. So you're making 235% APR. if you take the rewards that you got from that just weekly, not every day. Now, obviously, if you're a whale and you have a lot of money, you're going to have so many rewards collecting that you're probably going to compound it every day. But let's just go with every week. So 235% APR is actually 800. Let me zoom in a bit here. 895% APY. The only reason I say that is when you go to a lot of projects, even projects that I like Beefy, Reaper, and a lot of these ones, they're quoting you APY, not APR. So just as an example, Taro, they're a place you can auto compound, which, but even though they auto compound for you, they're still quoting APR, which is nice because they're actually underrepresenting. Even though they're going to compound for you, they're quoting APR, which they really probably should be quoting APY. Beefy, on the other hand, they are an auto compounder. They're quoting APY. Reaper is quoting APY. So there you go. APR and APY are not the same thing. So if you see a project, a lot of times if you're getting the rewards sent to a separate rewards page and it's not getting auto compounded into your wallet, it really should be quoting you APR because they don't know if you're going to take the rewards and auto compound them. And if so, are they doing it every day, multiple times a day, once a week, once a month? We don't know. So if the rewards are coming out separate, then it should be quoting you APR. If it's coming out and getting, your rewards are automatically going back in and recompounding, it should be APY. So there you go. That's the difference. So back to Velodrome. So they've got their pools page, which is just the typical liquidity pool that you've seen me talk about in other episodes. I won't go into detail, but generally you have to have both of these coins. You combine them in the pools page. There's a manage pools in here. You manage it and you go in here and you pick the 2 coins you want to create a liquidity pool. And therefore you get in here and you make this rate of return. So that's the pools part. Vest is where you're creating a locked VeLO, which is called VeVELO. It turns it into an NFT. So when you pool all your VeLO together and you lock them, it becomes an NFT. With that NFT, you then get to go vote. And you're voting for things that are going to bribe you for your rate of return. So this is Wednesday. This is the deadline. The snapshot is Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. It's midnight UTC. That's when the snapshot happens. So this number is pretty close because right now it's 2 in the afternoon. So it's only going to be open for another 5 hours. After the snapshot, all these numbers will go back to 0 again because the bribes will not be there. As you can see right here, if I pick bribes from highest bribe to lowest bribe, as you can see in dollar value, these projects, like I mentioned, Sunny, is the highest dollar value briber right now. They're bribing $20,000 for you to vote for their project. And why would they vote? Why would they need you to vote? Because the Solidly project, which this is built off of, you're voting for a project. The emissions that are in the emission schedule get given to these liquidity pools. And that's how these liquidity pools make these rates of return, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to do a separate video on Velodrome and all that right after this one. But I that's what I've been doing. The only reason I mentioned that now is because I wanted to say this to you. If I can make 200% between bribes. Oh, and there's another thing I didn't mention. You can go to Dune and get this. There is a airdrop that you get of OP coins, optimism coins, for being a new locker of VeLO. So only your new coins get this airdrop. But as of right this moment, you're getting 33 cents on the dollar airdrop to you right after the day after the snapshot in OP coins. This will go down. There's still 5 more hours. So I know 33% automatic instant return for locking up your VeLO seems a little too good to be true. Yeah, it'll probably come down to more like 20 to 25%, but it's still a nice little icing on the cake. So you got that, plus you're getting the rewards from the voting and the bribes, which we showed you back here. So this money gets split up by all the people that vote for it. So again, only mentioned, very cursory overview of what I'm doing. The reason I'm doing that now is to explain that that is what I've been doing since about June, right when Velodrome started. I heard about it. I got into a airdrop with Weave coin where it got burned and you got VeLO coin. And I got in at the ground level when I read about this. I loved the idea so much. I didn't know if it would execute perfectly. Solidly was not a perfect project. I thought, yeah, they say they're going to take it and they're going to improve on it. And, let me see it. So at first I put a little bit of money in. And then they've been just amazing. The dev team there, Alex, Tao, and others, they're very transparent. They go on all these AMAs where their faces are shown on screen. So they've been doxxed, and they explain everything. They're so transparent about what's coming, what they're working on, new upgrades to the website and all that. They seem top notch. And so that's, for me, the most important thing now is get to know the dev team. If they refuse to say who they are, if they are hiding in the shadows, won't say who their real name is, just have a screen name when they go on one of these YouTube channels or whatever to talk about the project, they're cloaked in anonymity. They won't show their face right away. Red flag, red flag, red flag. So Velodrome seems top notch to me. Again, do your own research. So I started with a little bit of money at the beginning, and then I've been constantly reinvesting my bribe and rewards and putting it back into more locked VeLO. Again, if you're interested in this sort of thing, that'll be the next episode. So that's pretty much it. I've been yield farming since June. Oh, in between that, so you probably wondered, January you said you got out of everything, and then June you started yield farming. What were you doing in between there? I was yield farming stablecoins. Seemed safe, seemed smart. I was lucky I was not in any Terra Luna UST coin, although I got hurt a little bit by it. Side story. I was in a yield farming play where, similar to what I just said, where I was yield farming so well, I thought I'll keep some money there yield farming because I'm making so much money in returns that it's more than offsetting what I perceive to be what the loss in the value of the coins will be. And then Terra Luna happened, the collapse there. And I'm like, but I'm not in Terra Luna. And I looked at the price of my coin, and for a day, it didn't do anything. It just didn't react. And I was like, well, I'm good. Keep yield farming. And then it was a project called Based. It was a derivative of Tomb. It was a sister project of Tomb. Harry Yee, the big kind of centralized founder with most of the coins probably, rumors were he was heavily invested in Terra Luna, and that because he lost a boatload of money, that he might have to stop Tomb, or he might go bankrupt, or who knows what. So all the fear and FUD came. So Tomb dropped like a rock, Based dropped like a rock. I ended up just getting out because I don't like any of that stuff. Luckily I did, because Based never came back to anywhere near what I sold for. Anyways, that was my only kind of, like, I got a little bit of the blast from Terra Luna, even though I wasn't in Terra Luna. I've never been in Coinbase. I've never been in FTX. I've been kind of lucky because I've been yield farming strictly on decentralized exchanges. There you go. So I think decentralized, if you have a good dev team that you feel you can trust, that are trustworthy, decentralized exchange is far superior, in my opinion, to a centralized exchange like FTX, where there's one or two founders that own the majority of the coins, and they have access to all the wallets, and they can do this FTX shenanigans where they start taking money out without telling anybody because they run the show. Decentralized exchange, everything's on the blockchain. We all vote for what needs to be done. If something needs to be changed, they put it to a vote. We all vote yay or nay, and that's how it works. And that's how I feel the most efficient way that the blockchain ecosystem should be working. Now, there are, Binance seems like CZ seems like a decent guy. He's a centralized exchange. I wouldn't be averse to using that one because he's been around for so long, and he's proven without any being pushed to do it that the money's there, that he hasn't loaned against it, he's not doing leverage, he hasn't borrowed anything. So I think if you have to be on a centralized exchange, Binance is a good one. But FTX, everybody, you got Tom Brady and all these stars talking about how they use FTX. I mean, a lot of people got snowed. And now, unfortunately, a lot of people have lost, probably some people have lost their entire life savings, and that's unfortunate. But wasn't me. Sad that it's happened to them. Glad I didn't get into any of that. But yield farming, even if we have a little bit further to go down, is the way you can continue to stack coins. And if you feel like we only got another few thousand in Bitcoin to fall from where it's 16.5 or whatever we're at now down to 14.5, you go, okay, well, what percent is that? Okay. And that's going to be over how long? Oh, it's going to be over the next 6 months to a year. Oh, okay. Well, I can be stacking coins for those 6 months to a year that are going to far offset that additional loss in value, if that makes sense to you. So there you go. That's what I've been up to. I haven't died. I'm sure some people are like, that guy just disappeared off the face of the earth. Did he die? No, didn't die. Just didn't want to come on here every day and be Mr. Gloom and Doom. I feel now we're close enough to the end that, you know what, if you got in now, okay, use this as an example. You got in now at 16.5, or luckily you got in 2 days ago at 15.5. What does it matter, 15.5 or 16.5, if we eventually go to 100,000 in the next bull market? And I think it'll probably go higher than that. But if Bitcoin goes to over 100,000, that means all these altcoins will probably go up percentage-wise even higher than that, because there's more growth in those than the blue chip of Bitcoin. If we go up that much, is it going to matter when you look back if you bought, using Bitcoin numbers, at 15.5, 16.5, or even 18.5 when we're at over 100,000 a year from now, or 18 months from now? You see my point? So maybe don't be so worried about trying to catch the absolute bottom, because nobody's perfect. You'll probably never get in. If you wait for the absolute bottom, you'll miss it. And you'll be sitting there on the sideline with your dry powder going, damn, I guess a month ago was the bottom. Might as well DCA in a little bit, and that way you've got some skin in the game without going crazy. Don't put it all in at once. Spread it out. That way you're less likely to miss the bottom and won't be crying if it takes off to the upside without you. So there you go. Hopefully you found this informative, me explaining where I've been. And again, looking at this chart, I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong when I went dark, because I'm like, man, I got nothing positive to say. And as your mother would probably tell you, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. And that's kind of the reason I went dark. So hopefully you found this episode informative as to why I went dark, entertaining in some way, learn more quickly about Velodrome. And again, if you want a more detailed walkthrough of it, that'll be the next episode. And until next time, this is Craig signing off, wishing you happiness, health, and wealth. Ciao for now.